Well, we've gone exactly 0 days without drama in the NBA, and there's more drama today. Shams put out this tweet, Morgan, and let me read it to you.
Please.
The Memphis Grizzlies have informed pending free agent Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances, league sources tell The Athletic.
Quite aggressive.
Oh, but then you read the article
that
went with the tweets. Brooks' first-round series against the Lakers was considered to be the breaking point. In the span of the Grizzlies series lost in 6 games, he called LeBron James, the Lakers' best player and a 4-time champion, old and tired, and suggested he was not as good as he used to be. Brooks punched James in the groin area in Game 3, earning an ejection. He missed a defensive assignment to help on James on the game-tying basket in Game 4, and then gave up a critical basket to James in overtime of that loss. Brooks also chose not to speak to the media after 3 of the losses in that series, resulting in a $25,000 fine by the NBA. And Morgan, not done. The Lakers also left Brooks open during the series and dared him to shoot, using the extra defender to keep All-Star Ja Morant from driving or to blitz Desmond Bane on the perimeter. Brooks shot 31% from the field and 28% from 23.8% from three-point land in the series, while averaging 10.5 points a game, shooting nearly 13 shots per game. There's a lot to unpack here. First things first, how about the Grizzlies just torching Dillon Brooks?
You're laughing at this.
I'm laughing because
you're uncomfortable.
I'm so...
Yes.
Look, we could get to the Dillon Brooks angle of this, but man, when you think of where the Grizzlies season went wrong this year, Steven Adams being hurt, obviously big. Brandon Clark, the Ja Morant stuff, it seems like they're pointing all fingers at Dillon Brooks right now. Like, no, he's the scapegoat. He's to blame. We told him he is done, not coming back under any circumstances. What do you think about how this was put out there?
Yeah, I hate when organizations do this. You know, I think we felt a little bit like this with the Russell Westbrook situation early on in this season. And again, I'm not the biggest Russell Westbrook fan. I'm not the biggest Dillon Brooks fan, but I'm definitely not a fan of organizations trying to pile on and just dig a grave for these guys, especially when they're still trying to do things in the NBA. And when you have pieces like this from obviously big names like a guy like Shams, then people are going to take it seriously. And all those things that he mentioned in there are fact, but it's the wording. It's the little extra things in that tweet that are just really going at Dillon Brooks. And we already get it. And you don't have to like Dillon Brooks. You don't have to respect Dillon Brooks. You can think he's a dirty player, but this guy is really going to have a reality check after all of this.
Well,
you hope.
It has to be a reality check for Dillon Brooks. For the Memphis Grizzlies to say, we're not having you back under any circumstances, that's a pretty significant message to put out to the public. And Dillon obviously has had some really nice moments with the Memphis Grizzlies. He brings the toughness, the physicality. This has to be, like you just said, a reality check for him.
Yeah.
He has to look in the mirror. His career doesn't have to be done here. He's 27 years old.
That's it.
He plays with an edge, which I think some teams want someone like that on their roster. But he needs to be a star in his role. He needs to understand that he doesn't need to be taking 13 shots a game and that teams are leaving him open for a reason. What can he do to impact a team? And I think you saw in his first couple of years in the NBA with the Memphis Grizzlies where he was a really important piece where you went, he's part of the core.
Yep.
And now this team, a few years later, is going, we want nothing to do with you.
He was part of that culture, that toughness. And then it feels like it started becoming this fake toughness from this entire squad. You know, I mean, you go back, just like you said, to Ja Morant flashing the gun, to the Instagram story and everything. It's like everyone wanted to be something and someone that they were not this season with the Memphis Grizzlies. Reality check for a lot of people, but if you're Dillon Brooks after a piece like this comes out on you, especially if you believe that you're capable of being a role player in this league, I'm sure he thinks higher of himself, but at the same time, you got to embrace the role that you're in, and he should not be shooting out there unless he's working on a shot in the offseason. He needs to be great at the little things, fly in for those offensive rebounds, dig on defensively, because even right now defensively, it seems like he's a physical guy and he relies on his physicality and not even the fundamentals of sliding with someone. He gives too many angles and just tries to get in their head.
A team's going to take a chance on him, right? A team is going to be like,
so.
You know what? Like, think about like Miami. Like you just think about the type
Who
of
could
player
give him
they want.
structure?
Yeah, I mean, and he may need a change of scenery. I just think taking a step back, he has to look in the mirror. But Memphis, you also need to look in the mirror, right? Because if you're thinking that your only problem with your organization has been Dillon Brooks, there's a lot more stuff going on, and you have to be honest with yourself. I think Dillon also has to do a better job of, you can't be the guy that talks, and when things don't go your way, you disappear and don't want to talk to the media. If you're going to step in front of the camera and cut promos on LeBron James, calling him old, talking about how he's 40, but whatever, then you need to talk to the media when things don't go well and own up to it. So, hey, Dillon Brooks, little reality check for you.